All right, we're going to go ahead and get started again. I have an announcement. First Christian Church on December 17th is doing a community holiday dinner at 11 a.m. at the 4-H building. Everyone is welcome. They're serving turkey and ham, mashed potatoes, green beans, rolls, cake, and it is free. There is a free will offering, but you are all invited to the community. December 17th, 11 a.m. So, all right. Our next guest is Jeff Davidson. Jeff has been here a couple times, and we love him, so we always invite him back. So please welcome Jeff Davidson.
Yes, it is good. Tell me if I'm too loud here, but yes, it's good to be back here. I always enjoy coming over here. I've actually been here more than twice, probably about 4 times, I'm thinking. This may be my 5th time or so. Normally when I come over here, you've heard me sing songs, and I almost always have some sort of theme, usually some Kansas historical aspect to it and so forth. So today, I don't have, okay. I'm just going to sing some songs, and I decided to do something a little different. I'm going to sing songs that I have written. Okay, and so you're going to get stuck with those. And a couple or 3 of them I have done here before. Most of these have not been recorded, so they're relatively new, I guess, and they're just kind of a scattering. I'll tell you a little bit about the songs as I sing them, or right before I sing them. This one is called The Call of Kansas, and I'm sure I've done this one before over here. It's simply a song about Kansas. Here we go. It whispers in the cottonwoods at dawn's first light, wails in the distance as day fades to night, whistles in the song the meadowlark sings, snaps as a shot is striking limestone rings, like a symphony it billows, then it's soft and sweet, then rolling like a wave through the amber wheat, resounds through the valleys from the hills so high, where tall grasses reach to touch the sky. It's the call of Kansas, the call of the wide open plains, the call of Kansas, the call of the home on the range. It's the lowing of cattle on 1,000 hills, the random melody of the mockingbird trills, the whirring of combines and ripe wheat fields, gathering a harvest of bountiful yields. It's the soft, gentle buzzing of the honeybees as they make their sweetness from the willow trees. The bell of the buffalo in spring, cicadas in summer, and I hear them sing. The call of Kansas, the call that echoes through the air. The call of Kansas, the call that is calling you back. Pioneers in covered wagons searching for a new home, men and knights who planted wheat in fields of fertile so long. Cowboys who drove from Texas, the longhorn steer, they are hearkening to the call when they did hear the call of Kansas, the call that you have always known. The call of Kansas, the call that is calling you home. It's the endless horizon on a cloudless day, the rolling blue-stem hills shining so far away, the sunset ablaze with its ruby hue, the sunflower sparkling in the morning dew. It's sunrise delivering a new day's burden that reveals the fullness of God's green earth, and beckons you to discover all you'll ever need when you hear the call, and then you heed the call of Kansas, the call that no one would exchange, the call of Kansas, the call of a home on the range. Okay, well, thank you very much. By the way, is the sound about right? Is my voice and guitar balanced? Does one need to go up or down, or? I'm seeing thumbs up, so I guess we'll go from there. Okay, very good. And that song, if you noticed, I do try to write songs and put some stuff in those, and if you picked it up, there were about 8 of our Kansas symbols in there. For instance, the Cottonwood Tree is our state song, and Home on the Range, of course, is Cottonwood Tree is our state tree. Home on the Range is our state song, Meadowlark's our state bird, and sunflowers is a state flower, and kind of on down the line, and hopefully you picked up at least some of that in there. So that's now the next song I'm going to do is what we call a co-write. A fellow by the name of Ron Wilson wrote the words to this song. It was a poem, actually. He put together a poem, and as I looked at it, it did have, one of the differences between a poem and a song is that in a song you like to have what they call a hook, and the hook is basically the title that's repeated a number of times. And so just like on that last song, I had the Call of Kansas was in there a bunch, if you noticed. And so that's what you do in a song. In a poem, you don't necessarily need to do that. And so, however, you can. Some poems do have a repeating line. And in this case, he had actually had 11 verses, which would be stanzas in a poem. And each of them ended with "Along the Chisholm Trail." And so we celebrated 150 years of the Chisholm Trail back in 2017. Cattle began coming up the Chisholm Trail from Texas to Abilene in 1867. However, this year, we're kind of celebrating a branch of that trail that went to Ellsworth. And that began in the 150 years ago, whatever that would be. And the trail there, it was kind of a branch from Pond Creek, Oklahoma, and went up through, would gone through Kingman and on up to Ellsworth. And so they're celebrating commemorating 150 years of that. So this is one called "Along the Chisholm Trail." This is one of those songs, I hope I remember all the words to this song. Here we go. This was a little bit of a challenge for me. I put the tune to it, but I actually wrote another stanza or another verse to make it 12, so I had an even number to work with, and I just sort of varied the tune a little bit that you'll notice as I go through here. 150 years ago we merged the vital tale. It helped the fledgling nation grow along the Chisholm Trail. A man called Chisholm freighted goods to Indian tribes for sale. His wagons rode through plains and woods along the Chisholm Trail. So history followed Chisholm's route through much frontier travails. Through longhorn herds with grazeland out along the Chisholm Trail. The battles of the Civil War had left the nation frail, but Texas feet would help restore along the Chisholm Trail. Come a Then came a man named Joe McCoy, his vision did entail slaving thieves with cowboys along the Chisholm Trail. Come a The longhorn herds were ranging free through Texas hill and vale. They were the opportunity along the Chisholm Trail. So drovers moved the cattle north to Kansas Iron Horse Rail. 3 million head would travel forth along the Chisholm Trail. They fought stampedes and Indians raised their hazards to curtail. Some left their parts in shallow graves all along the Chisholm Trail. It became the nation's story how cowboys did prevail and earned America's glory along the Chisholm Trail. Their grit and deeds of daily historians regale the bravery shown in Sperry along the Chisholm Trail. Come a time, and now we pause to celebrate and honor without fail the legacy they did create along the Chisholm Trail. Come a time, so come along and lend an ear to the night wind's low wail, whispering legends you will hear along the Chisholm Trail. Whispering legends you will hear along the Chisholm Trail. I don't know what it is about me. I made a mistake a little bit ago. I took a few sips of water. Water, when I'm singing, makes my mouth dry. So I'll have to keep sipping water probably between each song. Anyway, this next song is one I wrote several years ago. Actually, it was a poem that I wrote, but then I modified it into a song. And I've sung this one here. The last time I sang this song here, somebody requested it. I think it was you. And I kind of messed it up, so I forgot it. And so I wanted to do it again. This song is, it's about an older horse. It's called Care of the Kids. And it kind of goes back to when my kids were little, and I had two or three old horses that kind of took care of them, with one and then another and so forth. And my daughter took her horse to college with her 4-H horse, and used him in equine Special Olympics, and as well as one of the, I can't say the word, anyhow, where they use horses to help kids that's got mental problems and so forth. And so she worked at one of those places, as well as the equine Special Olympics. And horse was, of course, very popular, and it's just one of those things that we can help people with, even with our horses. So here we go. He doesn't step out as bold as he used to. His eyes don't shine as bright as before. Sometimes in the pen one gets by now and then, and he just can't work all day. But he's still the best horse that I ever had, at roping, sorting, or what all I did. Sure, he's getting slow, but I can't let him go, 'cause he takes good care of the kids. These days he rolls bottle cans down by the pond, rounds up imagined outlaws and thieves. Stand still to climb up, even gives rides to the top. Gets petted and loved for all he achieves. Oh, he'll do all the events at the 4-H show, but he doesn't move fast like he did. Oh, he's not what he was, but I'll keep him, because he still takes good care of the kids. Oh, the breath of heaven is between horses' ears, and the spirit of a young child takes wing. Where heartbeat meets hoof-beat, all joy is complete, with the freedom that a good horse can bring. With its grace, power, beauty, and fire, the horse is a mirror to one's soul. says he still gives so much we can use. So he gets special feeds and whatever he needs. He's a teacher that's too good to lose. So here's to you, partner, and all of those just like you. If but the lie in these last words was he. Good horses grow old but never die of its soul. They just take good care of the kids. Good horses grow old but never die of its soul. They just take good care of the kids. Hopefully my whistling doesn't come out a little too shrill here. That's why I turned my head. I'm not right to the microphone. Well, the next song I'm going to do for you is a Flint Hills song. Of course, I grew up in the Flint Hills. I still live in the Flint Hills. Actually, Greenwood County is the biggest native grass county in the state of Kansas. And I was the county agent over there for quite a while, and so that kind of fit my education and my interests. So glad of that. So this is simply called Twilight on the Flint Hills Trail. Today we actually do have a Flint Hills Trail. I wrote this song years ago before we had a Flint Hills Trail. This song actually was recorded, and actually myself and Annie Wilson did a duet with this particular song. But anyhow, just a song that I like, a simple little tune, and so we'll see how you like it. Here we go. The sun is sliding down the western sky. The nighthawk is drumming his lullaby. The greyhound owl is cooing low. Daylight is a fading wonder, where did it go? The evening primrose wakes from its sleepy day. The first star appears for a good night's stay. The coyote sings his lonesome way at twilight on the Flint Hills Trail. Twilight on the Flint Hills Trail. Breeze, evening whisper. Here we go, just a second. The evening breezes whisper, but what do they say? Cattle are alone from a hill far away, and today's last call from the bobwhite quail at twilight on the Flint Hills Trail. Twilight on the Flint Hills Trail. Mockingbird is singing his neighbor's song. The morning dove mournfully croons along, and all the world stops spinning around. Watch the evening prairie sun go down. The temperature is cooling down in the draw. The crow is a-teasing the owl with his call. They watch the moon rise yellow and pale at twilight on the Flint Hills Trail. Twilight on the Flint Hills Trail. The breezes touch the tall grass, it begins to sway, dancing to the rhythm of the crickets that play, while o'er the hill shadows slowly sail at twilight on the Flint Hills Trail. there's two choruses more or less in that song, and I kind of get it mixed up, and I go from, they start off too similar, I guess, but anyway. Well, this next song I want to do is, and I know I'm not doing any really Christmas things, but this one is somewhat religious. And I sang this, or I wrote this song here actually years ago when I was, I don't know, one of those times when I was not feeling good about myself. Have you ever felt that way? You know, you kind of get looking down. And I told myself, oh, just quit it. Look up, and things will get a lot better. And so I thought, well, that's an idea. So I reached out and picked up my guitar and wrote this song. So this is simply one called Look Up, and I do think it's something that all of us should do more of, quite frankly. So here we go. Oh, I did make a little change in the song. What with in 2020, I've made a slight modification to the song. You'll pick up there. In these times when we're down and out, these times when we're filled with doubt, these times when life's out of control, if we look up, it will soothe our soul. So look up and never hang your head. Raise your chin and look up instead. Look up. Now Daniel was down in the lion's den. When he looked up, the Lord delivered him. So look up. When you're filled with fear, look up, and you'll find him there. Look up. When in the jaws of death, send up a prayer, boy, he's not dead. Look up. When we look down in a canyon, there's only dark emptiness there. But if we look up, we see a sky that's bright, a beaming life all through the air. So look up, look up, look up, my friend, look up. Now Jonah was low in the belly of the whale, but the Lord brought him up and on the right trail. So look up when you've been devoured. Look up and you'll be empowered. Look up when you're feeling consumed. Look to his light shining through the gloom. And look up. There's always a feeling of comfort when we look up above. The golden moon and twinkling stars, and we see these, we see love. So look up, look up, look up, my friend, look up. Lost in flood, no receipt from a dove, a message of land from up above. So look up, when you're drifting around, look up. Stand on solid ground, look up. When on my stormy seas, calm the waves on bended knees, look up. Today we find in this pandemic time that it seems hard to cope. But if we look up, we'll be filled with faith and love and hope. So look up, look up. Look up, my friend, my friend, my friend, look up. For the Lord is on high and the devil is low. We should look to where we want to go. So look up, look up, look up, my friend, look up, look up, look up, my friend, look up. Okay, I'm going to try the little tenor voice here on this one. Sometimes you get inspired to write something. I wrote this song actually quite a few years ago. I was actually working for a wagon train at the time, and I was taking a covered wagon, or excuse me, I took a covered wagon back to the barn that it belonged in east of Matfield Green. And then I went on home to Eureka. If you haven't been on the road from Macfield Green to Eureka through the hills, you're lost if you have. But it was out there about midnight when I stopped on Texaco Hill and just looked at the pretty picture of the moonlight shining on the hills. And I actually wrote this song in my basement a day or two later, but that was where I got the idea for the song. I thought it was kind of pretty when I wrote it, but I thought it didn't say anything. It's kind of a romantic tune, only it doesn't really say much. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And so I tossed it in the drawer. But one day, several years later, I was playing this I was just messing around with the guy that played lead guitar for me for quite a while, and he heard me sing this song, so he started playing on his guitar. And he did a really nice job with it, and I said, wow, that does sound pretty, you know, so I started singing the song. So I very seldom sing this song, but we'll do this one. Let's see, this is called Angels of the Prairie. So here we go. Angels have painted the prairie tonight with silver from the moon and gold from starlight, shadows from the hilltops in the distance so blue. But I can see only you. Angels have touched the prairie tonight with warm summer breezes that whisper so quiet. They bring the message you love me too. I've only touched by you. Prairie seems richer at nighttime than at day, but the silver from the moon will soon fade away. But the diamonds that sparkle in the heavens at night are there in the dewdrops the first morning light. Angels bring sweet dreams to the prairie tonight, under a blanket of stars shining bright, fulfilling the promise dreams will come true. But I only dream of you. Yes, I I'm going to bounce back. I've probably sung this song before here as well. Rooted in Stone. I kind of like this song. I got the idea from somebody else's song, listening to a recording. And don't get me wrong, I changed it all. went a whole different direction with the idea of the song but I thought of using stone, and you know, as you drive around Kansas, and there's nothing unique about it in Kansas, but we have a lot of stone, limestone buildings, a lot of stone walls. We even have the stone posts out in central Kansas, and so we do use a lot of stone. And certainly our pioneers used a lot of stone. And so with that in mind, I wrote this song. So we go. They crossed the wide Missouri stream, rolled into the prairie to find their dreams. Pioneers spread out across this line, to build their home by their own hand. The trees were scarce, there was no wood, so they took to what they had, did what they could. They framed and built their frontier home, rooted in stone, rooted in stone. For centuries the tall grasses stand, let's just do that one again. For centuries the tall grasses stand on stony soils and hilly land. Rooted in stone they feed the cow, but stand their ground against the plow. Beneath that grass our ancestors rest, for they built this state and stood the test. Their name was on above their bones, rooted in stone, rooted in stone. Oh, give me a rangeland home that's rooted firm in stone, the land of God's good earth, land of my birth. Through the stars, through difficulty, its name stands in history. A state we call our own, that's rooted firm in stone. The fence log came with the cattle trails, but trees were few to split the 4-fence rails. So horse high, horse strong, pig tight they stood. Stone wall fences instead of wood. Stone built churches reach to the sky and declare our faith to God on high. Like life's commandments from the throne, rooted in stone, rooted in stone. Oh, give me a rangeland home that's rooted firm in stone, the land of God's good earth, the land of my birth. Through the stars, through difficulty, its name stands in history. The state we call our own, that's rooted firm in stone. This land called Kansas knows no bounds. Its people grow from solid ground. Traces of our stone roots are there as we fly through the air. They say some states are carved of bone, while others come from hide and horn. But Kansas built their rangeland home, rooted in stone, rooted in stone, rooted in stone, rooted in stone. Thank you. I'm looking at my list here. I keep a list on my tape to my guitar. People ask me sometimes, how do you remember all that stuff? And you notice I haven't remembered all that stuff too well today. But I never can remember what song's next. So next, I'm going to do just my one and only little Christmas poem. And you know, I should put together a Christmas program, I guess, but that's such a short time, you know, I would only maybe do it once, you know, and maybe not do it at all, so I really don't put Christmas programs together. But here's a little poem for you. Just, Santa's getting all hitched up and ready to be on his way. He's been mending harness, trimming hooves, and greasing runners on his sleigh. Checking once and then checking twice his list of good girls and boys, double checking through his pack, making sure it's full of toys. Now the reindeer, they're on special feed, because Santa knows what rations mean. Their feed has fat and vitamins and is laced with Dramamine. Old Rudolph, he gets a special blend with extra energy for power. It takes a lot to feed his nose at 1,000 watts an hour. So Sandy and the crew are ready, the reindeer lined up G and Haw, just waiting for this Christmas Eve, and old Sandy's dash away, now dash away all. One more sip here. So I'm going to flip from the Christmas poem to a summertime a song and this one actually is a little more romantic, and I kind of like this song and whatever. I thought it was a pretty well written song, so here we go. My favorite time of year is the summer, when the whole world is sparkling blue, when all is young and growing, blossom shining morning dew. Summer is ever warm and smiling, when morning sun rises in view. Summer is just so much fun, summer reminds me of you. Summer is always so busy, it finds so much it has to do. But summer is always gentle, summer reminds me of you. Summer warms away stoves of winter and puts the laughter in every stream. Summer warms the heart at home, offers all a summer night's dream. Summer resounds with nature's music, from treetops or sky blue. Summer's made just for loving, summer reminds me of you. Summer's warmth and feel of closeness rekindles thoughts of love anew. Summer is so full of life, summer reminds me of you. Summer brings heaven so much closer on a firefly starlit night, or after rain has ended and colored rainbows shining bright. Stormy rain clouds are sure to gather, but summer sun comes smiling through. Summer freely shares her sunshine, summer reminds me of you. Our summer reminds me of you. So sunny and so warm, just like you, just like you, just like you. Do-wah, do-wah-wah-wah-wah, do-wah-wah-wah. That was my one and only doo-wop song, and so I put it in there that way. Tell you what, I'm going to wind up here. I'm down to the last two songs. I guess we're getting done kind of early here, but so the first next one I'm going to sing is the latest one I wrote in about I don't know, roughly September, October this year. And the last one that I will do, I wrote in 1975. Okay. So, sort of one of the most recent and one of the very oldest songs that I've written. This next one is, you should recognize, if you know your Western music, you will recognize 25 Western song titles. 18 of them are listed in the top 100 Western songs of all time, okay? And so I want to point that out to you, because I think if I just sing the song, it'll just kind of fly by you. And you maybe won't notice, but kind of listen. There should be some songs in here, song titles, not the tune, but there will be some song titles that should sound at least a little bit familiar to you. So, here we go. The American West is where I long to be, in wide open open spaces where the wind blows free. Where the wind blows free, there's Rocky Mountain High. And where the wind blows free, you'll hear riders in the sky. Where the wind blows free, I'm back in the saddle again. Where the wind blows free, my troubles don't fence me in. Where the wind blows free, faster horses fit my needs. And where the wind blows free, tumble, stumbling tumbleweeds. Where the wind blows free, beams like me, the last Comanche wind. Where the wind blows free, we will meet up someday soon. Where the wind will be singing the song of the trail as it sends along the chill of the coyote's lonesome wail. Breezing through Red River Valley on the trail of the lonesome pine. The freedom of the wind lives in this heart of mine. Where the wind blows free comes cool water from above. And where the wind blows free, Sandy Laurie I dream of. Where the wind blows free, you follow a wandering star. Where the wind blows free, way out there is where you are. Where the wind will be singing the song of the trail as it sends along the chill of the coyote's lonesome wail. Breezing through Red River Valley on the trail of the lonesome pine. The freedom of the wind lives in this heart of mine. When they call her eyes, there's a sad memory, while that old wayward wind lends restless melody that can set the plains on wildfire and clear wild Montana skies. Or put teardrops in my heart and these blue Spanish eyes. Where the wind blows free is when the work's all done this fall. And where the wind blows free, where I hear the master's call. Where the wind blows free is where I ask you marry me, this old ornery cowpoke out on the lone prairie. Where the wind will be singing the song of the trail as it sends along the chill of the coyote's lonesome wail. Breezing through Red River Valley on the trail of the lonesome pine. The freedom of the wind lives in this heart of mine. Where the wind blows free. That one was kind of fun to put together. Well, this next song, you can join in with me on this one if you want to. It's one I actually run the words to this through my head almost every day sometimes. But anyway, I wrote this in the winter of 1975, probably February or so. And I was the girl I was going with at the time. We were out dancing, and she kind of was pulling me out on the dance floor, and I guess I was groaning a little bit or something. And she says, "You only live once." And so the next day, I wrote this song. So here we go. It's very short, very simple, but here we go. Oh, you only live once. It's an old familiar line. If I'm only young once, I'm gonna be young a long, long time. Yeah, you're only young once, so why not stay that way? If I'm gonna stay young, I gotta be young every day. Well, you can add up the bills for miracle pills, special lotions, magical potions, vitamins A to you. But whatever you do, when you analyze, you realize staying young is just an attitude. Oh, you're only young once. Nobody can be young twice. If I'm only young once, I'm gonna be young all of my life. You can add up the bills for miracle pills, special lotions, magical potions, vitamins A to Q. But whatever you do, you analyze, you realize, staying young is just an attitude. Everybody now, oh, you're only young once. Nobody can be young twice. If we're only young once, we're gonna be young all of our lives. Well, there you go. Well, Lynn asked for questions, so I guess I actually am done. So relax. My Indian song? Oh, okay, I can do that. I guess I can do it. We got some time. I can take requests for the songs that I still remember. You know? I think you're talking about One Sky Above Us? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yeah. This is a song, and I've used it a bunch. I use this song a lot because I think it kind of picks up. And I did use, by the way, a number of Indian or Native American quotes to write this song. And I think it just points out oftentimes when there are two cultures, you know, we tend to see or focus on the differences between us and them, whoever that is, when we don't notice that there's actually a lot of similarities between us and them. And so most all of us, you know, everybody wants to, whatever, have a roof over their head and food to eat, and something a little better for their kids maybe than what they had, and so forth, whatever your culture is. And so I think that's kind of what the message is behind this song. So there's one sky above us, one earth from which we grow. Watch the flush of the firefly, the winter bird, a buffalo. From one earth we grow, so are we not all brothers? Why then do we make war, try to kill one another? The land is our mother, the rivers our blood. The white man takes our land, gives reservations of mud. I love this land and want my children to learn my way, but when great white father speaks, we know to not believe words he'll say. I was born upon a prairie where the winds blow free. I know every wood and stream like my father before me. The patience of the owl and the courage of the jay, the swiftness of the hawk, it is the Indian way. The red man is of the soil, be it forest or plain. Natural as sunflowers, he's home for buffalo rain. Will we be destroyed? Must we give away our homes, up our own country and the graves of our ancestors' bones? There is one sky above us, so treat all men the same. Give them freedom to trade, free to go from where they came. One sky above us, one earth from which we grow. Watch the flush of the firefly, the winter breath of buffalo. Thank you very much. Is there any other question or a request? Do I go? You know, that's a good question. I'm not sure. How's the answer? But if I really work at it at home, I can go. Not so sure you want to hear, you know, I kind of like this, just like right now, I don't know whether I can go or not. If I work on it, I can, and I actually have done it. I actually yodeled at one of the biggest crowds. I was in Washington, D.C. one time, believe it or not. Okay, there's only one song that I know that. Okay, yes, sir. You know, I think I was 19. I was in college at Hutchinson, Chico, and sorry about and a kid down it was kind of odd in a way. My dad played guitar and sang songs, and that's kind of where I started with the, might say, the Western songs, although he sang popular songs of the day, country music stuff, but I mean, there was definitely a Western leaning there. But I didn't learn guitar from him. I didn't really play guitar when I was a kid, you know, and so, but this guy was down the hall from me, was playing guitar, stuck in his room one day, and said, hey, that sounds pretty good, blah, blah, blah. He started showing me some chords and stuff. Another roommate of mine later on at Colorado State showed me a little bit more. The very first guy I was in school with at Hutchinson, he's a Facebook friend, I still have. And I told him one time, I says, thank you for, I just wish you'd done a better job of teaching me how to play guitar. Ride, young man, ride? Just a second, let me think. Let me get a sip of water, and I got to think on it. Right? I've got to think about what key do I do this thing? This is a Pony Express song, actually, and that's where the Ride, Young Man, Ride comes into play here. There's actually, when I write songs, at least some of them, like these historical ones, there's actually some information in here. They did ride about 10 miles an hour. They would ride 75 to 100 miles per day. They obviously switched horses in that process. To send a letter back in those days, and keep in mind, this is 1860, and it cost $5 to send a letter, so which was a lot of money back then. And so, you didn't just, fire off a letter to somebody. They were also, orphans were recruited. Not all of the riders were orphans. Some of them claimed to be orphans so they could get the job. So because it was relatively good wages, and they were, of course, young men, they had to be very light. They were generally small, wiry guys, didn't weigh much. And so, but you'll hear some of that stuff in this particular song. So here we go. I hope I'm in the right key, and we'll go. I think I know the problem. I think I did this. Here we go. Now we go. That makes a G, now an A. Here we go. Young, hungry nation on a eve of war, 31 eastern states and the rest 2 more. 2,000 miles separated the land. It was a nation divided, it needed a plan. You reach east to west across the wilderness, then riding with the answer came the Pony Express. Ride, young man, ride, deliver the mail. Ride to the night's riders in the trail. Ride through the desert, the mountains and plains. Ride through the snow and the wind and rain. Ride 10 miles an hour, 100 miles a day. Ride on beans and bacon. I wrote for the Pony Express when I was just a kid. I was an orphan but saw to the finish every job I did. My horses were thoroughbred and ran to the bit. No matter the weather or country, they didn't go quick. At $5 a letter, I knew the mail weren't cheap. You didn't send a message unless it just wouldn't keep. There was this Oregon farmer who wrote his girl back home. He just had to tell her he was tired of being alone. And a Missouri mother sent a message to her son. His brother died in war and now he's the only one. My horse is lathered, but there's still 4 miles to go, with the next station this side of Sacramento. Ride, young man, ride, deliver the mail. Ride to the next rider in the trail. Ride through the desert and the mountains of plains. Ride through the snow and the wind and rain. Ride 10 miles an hour and 100 miles a day. Ride on beans and bacon, oats and air. Ride with the man of mystery. Ride into the pages of the story. You know, I think a lot of people don't really know the setting, you might say, back in 1860 when the Pony Express started. It only lasted 18 months, and it was not a very, as it turned out, it was a losing financial investment. But at the time that it started, as you noticed in my song, there were 31 eastern states, and in the West 2 more. California became a state in 1850, Oregon became a state in 1859. And so we had, Texas was in there, and then it was Missouri and East. And of course, you all know, right in the middle of the Pony Express era, the 34th state came to be, and that would be, there you go, Kansas, of course. And so the Pony Express played actually a fairly, not only did it go down, I think it's Highway 36 in the northern part of Kansas, pretty much anyway. But I think just the Pony Express gave us a little bit of development, led to our being statehood, you know. So, yeah. Any other requests or questions? Yes, sir. Okay. Do I have a favorite song? You know, depends on what mood I'm in. I think I've just sang a couple of them. I really like my Look Up song. I like my Summer Reminds Me of You song. It kind of depends on what you're doing. I do like my historical songs, and we just sang a couple of those that I like quite well. But it's kind of hard to, I can categorize them maybe for you. But you know, the one is, I'm not sure. Yeah. But the songs I sang today, which one was your favorite? There you go, turn that around. Look it up. Okay, very good. Very good. Yeah. Any other requests? Questions? Any questions about writing songs? If you want to learn about writing songs, talk to somebody who's been successful at it. But I would share a thing or two, maybe. I'm always surprised sometimes when there'll be a song, an old song, and it'll download it. That's one thing that's kind of nice, that you can download these things. You can learn the chords and the lyrics, you know what I mean, and talking guitar chords. But I'm sometimes surprised at how short they are. You know, it's kind of, this is it. This is all it was. So there's quite a bit of repetition a lot of times. No, I don't have a photogenic memory, sorry. Well, you noticed I flubbed on a couple of them, but I don't know for sure. I do practice. I have to practice. And a lot of my practicing at home now is basically to getting the lyrics, words in my head. Just, it sounds boring, but I just sit there and I just sing that song. I just sang the song list last night. I sang it the night before. I sang it the night before that. Go through this song list of these songs, to whatever, get them imprinted. Used to listen to a song about 3 times and I'd have it, and now it's like, oh boy. So, I'm sure none of you have that problem. Yes, okay. Hey, folks, it was fun. I like to come over here, so it's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Always a pleasure. We love to have you. Everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We will see you again in February. Thanks so much.